Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning. Okay, today we will learn about ecosystem. Okay, we start with energy flow in an ecosystem. Green plants. Green plant convert light energy from the sun into chemical energy through the process of photosynthesis. And then what happened to the chemical energy? It will be transferred to primary consumer and then go to secondary and then go to tertiary consumer in the food chain or food web. We start with producer. In an ecosystem, organism can be classified into three groups: producer, consumers, and decomposers. What is producer? Producer is an organism that produces its own food through photosynthesis. Why? Because in plants they have chloroplast organelle. And then in the organelle they have chloropigment, chlorophyll that will trap or absorb sunlight, and then they will convert it into chemical energy. Most of the producer are plants. And then we go to primary consumer. Primary consumer is an organism that eats producer. A consumer is organism that eats another organism. So for primary consumer, what is primary consumer? That an organism, or we call a primary consumer is an organism that eat producer. So most of the primary consumer are herbivores and some are omnivores. For example, caterpillars. What else? We have grasshopper. And then we go to secondary consumer. Secondary consumer is an organism that eat primary consumer. So most of them are omnivore, and also we have carnivore. Carnivore means they eat meats. For example, the Himalayan bluetail, and then Tarsica rufilatus is an omnivore. This is an example of omnivore. And then why? Because they eat caterpillars and fruits. However, the kingfisher and Alcedoartis is a primary carnivore because it eats primary because it eats primary consumers such as snail, fish, tadpoles, and shrimp. And then we go to tertiary consumer. What is tertiary consumer? Is a secondary carnivore. That eats a secondary consumer. It's just very easy to remember. Tertiary consumer means consumer that eat secondary consumer. An organism that eats secondary consumer, they will be tertiary consumer. The size of the tertiary consumer is usually bigger than a primary or secondary consumer. And last one, all living organism will die. So all die. All that organism will going through decomposition process. Decomposition is a process. So what is decomposer? A decomposer is an organism that breaks down dead animals and plants into simpler materials or nutrients. Composition process very important to what we call untuk kembalikan nutrien ke dalam tanah lah. This interaction is known as saprophytism. Remember the interaction we call as saprophytism. The process decomposer breakdowns dead animals and plants, we call decomposition. Animal that breaks down dead animal and plants, we call decomposer. So three terms that you need to understand. Decomposition is a process. Decomposer is an organism. The interaction is saprophytism.